Agenda for today's stream: Mastering HubSpot Life. Agenda for today's stream: Mastering HubSpot Lifecycle.
All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining the stream. About to get started here in just a few seconds. Just finalizing the setup here. Thanks for joining and being here. All right, let's kick it off. Hey folks, thanks for being here. I'm Luis Garcia with Media Garcia. We got an exciting session planned for us up here ahead. We're going to be mastering HubSpot Lifecycle stages. And no, that's what you're here for. You're excited. You woke up this morning and you said, you know what? I want to learn more about Lifecycle stages. What's up, Justin? You're a real homie. You know about Lifecycle stages. You know, you are HubSpot, so you know what it's all about. Share this with all your clients because they're about to get trained in on lifecycle stages. We're going to look for where all the pitfalls, where all the excitement, where all the glory is, and it's going to be a good session. And we're going to have more of these sessions, so this is the first of many. And let me give you a like and a reply on that. So this is live. By the way, we're streaming live across anywhere and everywhere possible. No, I'm kidding. But we actually are live on Twitch, TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So you can follow us at Media Garcia on all of those channels. This is going to become a regular thing. We're going to do deep dives into different parts of HubSpot every week. The intention being that you can see how a HubSpot expert or experts go into setting up your portal and different configurations and different things that are needed so that you get the value and the ROI that you want from your HubSpot portal. Because when you get value, you get success. And when you get success, you get happy, right? And that's what we're happy. That's what we're after, is happiness for today. So we're going to predict the future here. We're going to create it, and we're going to make it happy for all of us. Okay, thanks for jumping on and saying hi, Justin. Appreciate that. Hi, Emmy. Hi, James. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Emily. Thanks for tuning in. We're just getting started here, so get your popcorn. It's going to be good. Sierra, Candia, Peyton, good to see y'all. Thanks for joining. So yeah, we're going to get into an exciting session. We're going to talk about HubSpot, how a CRM, customer relationship management tool like HubSpot can grow your business, but more importantly, how we can do some fine tuning of things, Poetic Mars and Miller Toby, how we can set up certain things to configure it to perform really well, so that way everyone gets the value out of it. And so we're going to get very technical here. It's going to be good. And I'm glad that you are all here. If you have any questions, please feel free to engage. You can engage on the chat, on the comments. You can also go to mediagarcia.com and reach out to us there. If you're interested, if you're a HubSpot customer already, then you can actually go to mediagarcia.com/stream, and you will be taken to a place where you can request to be used as a case study for unlocking your CRM's full potential, and actually be a case study for us on stream. So we'll use your portal, and of course we keep all your information private and confidential, because we don't want that getting into your competitors' hands, of course. Right, James and Toast and Bungus, thanks for being here. Vincent, Lazy, CL, and Layla. So we don't want of course we're going to obfuscate or hide personal identifiable information, anything that's kind of risky to share. But the intention is that by sharing this information, because there are best practices, there are standards, there are things to look for, and the better that we can get those things out there, Catalina, the better that we'll be able to share this information more widely to the hundreds of thousands of customers that are currently on the HubSpot platform, and the hundreds of thousands of future customers that are going to be on the platform. And they see these things, they can see the value of it, feed the snail, and put it into their system. So again, Ty, thanks for being here. Please do like, follow, subscribe, share to spread the wealth, spread the health, and the knowledge, because that's all we have. And all right, so what are we going to get into today? Why don't we bring on a screen here? Oh yeah, I said I was going to share the links. Here's where you can actually request your own on it. Well, that's funny. Copilot just randomly opened on my screen. Go away, Copilot. All right, here's a couple links. Just putting it into, again, TikTok, we're streaming, Twitch, we're streaming, LinkedIn, we're streaming, and YouTube, we're streaming. And if you go to that link, you can go to our company page where you'll see where you can request. Again, you got to be a HubSpot customer, so don't fill out the form if you're not one. But if you're not a HubSpot customer yet and you want to see how to use this type of tool for your business, Mayo or Sebastian, then fill out the form or reach out to us, and we can show you the benefits of adding a customer relationship management tool like HubSpot to your business, and how it fits and how it helps companies streamline their operations and grow with ease. Because if there's anything better than working hard, it's going to be working smart. So let's get into it. Here's our agenda for today. Let me go ahead and pull it on screen. You know what? I don't want to read the agenda because I talk too much. Why don't we have our ChatGPT AI business partner Snoop Dogg read off our agenda for today. Snoop, take it away.
One introduction, 5-10 minutes. Welcome viewers and introduce the topic. Share the purpose of today's stream, discussing lifecycle stages, auditing projects, and sharing best practices. Set the tone for engagement and invite viewers to share their thoughts or questions.
All right, great. So yeah, we're doing the introduction again. I'm Luis Garcia with Media Garcia, and I'm a consultant on the HubSpot platform and help companies grow by using integrated technologies to get good data and automate and streamline their operations so they can measure and monitor the growth. What's going to come up after that, Snoop?
Overview of lifecycle stages in HubSpot.
Okay, cool. And then we're going to do an overview of lifecycle stages. So that's going to look like what is lifecycle stage? Just kind of set the preface and lay down the framework for that. And what are we going to do after that?
Auditing lifecycle stage projects.
Okay, definitely. So we're going to audit some projects, meaning we have some environments that are already being used quite a bit here, Enrique and Really. And we'll just kind of show you what it looks like behind the scenes as we go into their life cycle stages and do some reporting and measuring and see what we find. What's going to come after that, Snoop?
Best practices for lifecycle stages.
Okay, so why don't you tell me a little bit more about what you mean by best practices?
Share top recommendations for defining, managing, and evolving lifecycle stages. Highlight common mistakes and how to avoid them. Discuss tools, processes, or integrations that enhance lifecycle stage management in HubSpot.
All right, great.
Discussion. Building content authority around lifecycle stages.
Perfect. All right, how are we going to wrap it up then?
Open Q&A and engagement.
Oh, perfect. And we'll have some closing thoughts and calls to actions. And if you hadn't seen already, of course, I have it on screen. I'm showing you what I'm doing. We have a chat GPT result of what we have planned for this stream here today. And then we're using a plugin to actually do the voiceovers. I found that using voice on chat GPT results makes them a little bit more, I don't know, entertaining to work with. So we got Snoop Dogg here, right? I mean, this is entertaining, isn't it?
Encourage viewers to comment after the stream with their thoughts or questions. Share your next steps.
I'll encourage you right now. Please comment.
Viewers can reach you for further discussion. End with a thank you message and invite
Vernie,
you to join your next
hi. Let's get a couple waves out here. Okay, perfect. So now you know the agenda. Why don't we go ahead and get into it? Where are we going to start with our agenda? So we did the welcome. We shared the purpose of the stream today, and we got the tone ready, right? So let's just do an overview of what lifecycle stages mean in HubSpot. And to best do that, first I'm just going to introduce what is HubSpot to begin with. So let's get that on screen here. Here's HubSpot's page. If you haven't been there, it's hubspot.com. And what HubSpot is all about. It's a customer relationship platform, or a customer platform where you can centralize a lot of your marketing, sales, and service activities all into one platform and monitor your growth, right? It's got a lot of reporting analytics. It's got AI integrations, a lot of different valuable things. It's comprised of different hubs. So there's a marketing hub, meaning there's different marketing tools, there's sales tools, service tools, content tools, operational tools, commerce tools. I'm not going to go deep dive into that all right now, but just know that if you're a business owner, if you're a marketing leader, sales leader, typically companies are using tools like this to be basically like a very fancy database of people, right? And you can do fancy things with this fancy database, and that's what HubSpot is in a nutshell. But let's dig into what life cycle stages are, and I'm going to go ahead and just bring up again the knowledge base from HubSpot to kind of illustrate what this might potentially look like. So here's life cycle stages. This is the list of life cycle stages that we typically see out of box. So every time you open up a HubSpot account, if you have one, or if you don't, this is what comes out of the box. Now, sometimes people customize these stages, and there are some reasons why you would, and there's some reasons why you wouldn't want to do that. But these are the stages that you get. So starting, typically default is subscriber. However, there are some settings that you can change to say, would you rather have subscriber default or lead default? We can talk through the nuances of that later. But the idea is that as a contact comes in your database, typically they come in as a subscriber, meaning maybe they got, filled out a form on your website, for, updates, or maybe they downloaded a premium content like an ebook or a white paper from your site, and they fill out a form. You may consider that a subscriber. It is also used as typically as the default stage that contacts will come into. And so that's the first and default stage. Then is lead. Usually you will use lead when someone fills out a form that, it shows higher interest in the product or service that you're offering as a business. And then you have MQL, which stands for marketing qualified lead, and then SQL, which stands for sales qualified lead. With these, marketing qualified lead, usually, again, definitions vary, and it actually looks like there might be definitions down here. Oh, how wonderful. So check this out. Maybe if I get too tired reading this myself, I can always just have my GPT partner read this out for me. But you know what? I also recorded my own voice, so let's get kind of silly here. And
Hi, my name is Louie.
yeah, that's me.
Hi,
I know
my name
who
is
I am.
Louie, marketing qualified lead, a contact or company that your marketing team has qualified as ready for the sales team.
Okay, perfect. That's Robotic Lewis reading that off. Okay, Robotic Lewis, say it again. What's sales qualified lead?
A contact or company that your sales team has qualified as a potential customer. This stage includes sub-stages that are stored in the lead status property,
Okay, perfect. So it's also got sub stages that are the lead status property. So that's going to be an interesting thing that we're going to want to call out here. Hey, Justin, what's up, man? Two Justins commenting on. That's beautiful on LinkedIn. Thanks for tuning in. What about opportunity? What's that definition, Robotic Lewis?
A contact or company that is associated with a deal, e.g., they're involved in a potential deal with your organization.
Perfect. All right, and then why don't you just take us home with the last three stages?
Subscriber, a contact that has opted into.
Not subscriber. Start with customer, please. Let's try that again.
Subscriber.
Oh no, it's not going to do it. All right, maybe it's the list. I think it's the list.
Customer, a contact or company with at least one closed deal.
All right, so you got a closed deal with someone. You call them a customer. What's evangelist? Not a televangelist.
A customer that has advocated for your organization.
Right, distinct from televangelist people, so don't get them mixed up. What about other?
Other, a contact or company that does not fit any of the above stages.
Okay, so other would be, if it doesn't fit any of these other stages, typically it's going to be things like vendors, partners, perhaps people that you're not selling to, but they may be more like, ecosystem type contacts that you want to tag as other, right? So that way they fall out of the natural funnel that is being created through these different life cycle stages. Okay, so this is how you want to track your life cycle stages. And for those, because we are broadcasting to a pretty wide audience here, so a lot of folks are like, what is HubSpot, and like, what is life cycle stages? Just know that companies with sophisticated marketing and sales setups will track their contacts in this type of way so that they can see how people are moving through the journey, right? Through the journey of just engaging initially with the company all the way to becoming a lead, to the marketing team saying, yes, that's a qualified lead, to the sales team saying, yes, that's a sales qualified lead, to a opportunity, meaning that, again, what's the definition? Company or a contact that's associated with a deal, meaning that they're involved in the potential deal with the organization. And that can be a bit subjective and a bit vague. So every company that we work with will actually define very specific triggers or rules that would cause someone to go into typically each one of these stages, in fact, so that you can actually create a journey document that says this is how all this is supposed to work, right? And then customer, right? Customers, when they pay money, they sign paper, typically transacting, right? That's what we want to see. All right, let's continue on in this knowledge base that we have on HubSpot. So in fact, we'll drop the link here just in case you want to follow on your own. You're wondering, how did you get here? Just give me a second to put these links in. Hey, Moody. Hey, Neil. Thanks for joining. All right. Great. So there are some settings that are, so why are these life cycle stages so key? There are some settings in HubSpot in particular that allow for like automatic life cycle staging to happen, including, for example, if you are a contact and a company's, or let's say you're a company, right, and you're selling to a contact, and you create a deal, an opportunity for that contact, then that contact would automatically become an opportunity because there's a deal that's associated with it. So we get some benefits with having the automation already set up and good to go. And so there are some others. I'm not going to get too deep into all this because there are a lot. But know that there's a knowledge base. There's a lot of automation that is set up to automate, like when contacts are created, what stage should they go in? When contacts have a deal associated to them, they'll go into opportunity. When contacts have a deal that's associated to them that moves into a closed won deal, like you won the deal, or a stage, you won one stage, then they become a customer. All right, so those are typically the automations that come out of the box that you can configure. And but know that too, there's ways to automate a lot of the different kind of movements and stuff within the HubSpot platform, as long as you have access to their workflows product. Okay, so then there's some language here around updating the let's actually pull up a record here real quick, and we'll go ahead and show you where all this lives. So I think we have a test environment that I may refer back to. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay, cool. So this is a sandbox environment. I'll be hopping in between different kind of like example sandbox environments and real environments as we go through things here, just to kind of demonstrate and illustrate how things work. So let's pull up a example record here, and we'll show you exactly where this life cycle stage stuff lives, like at the lowest level. So here's an example record that I have on screen. This is Monica Reyes, and it's a mock contact, so don't worry. Don't email this person. Nothing will happen. It'll just bounce, right? And then you'll get a bad email score. So don't do that. And okay, so what do we have here? We have a contact record, and I'm going to actually bump up and zoom in on this left-hand side so you can see it a little more clearly. But here's a contact record, right? Like I said, HubSpot's kind of like a fancy database. So if you haven't seen HubSpot before, this is it. There's, record names, emails. There's different actions you can do, like email, call, make tasks, make notes, all that kind of stuff. And then there's all the properties that you can collect and track on the different property records here on the left-hand side, including, lo and behold, lifecycle stage. So here it is. So right now, Monica Reyes is in here as a lead, and I can click on this lifecycle stage drop down, and you'll see that I can select a different stage. So it says select stage, there's subscriber, there's lead, there's MQL, SQL, opportunity, customer, evangelist, right? And then another, right? So this is where this gets set. Also, neat thing is you can hover over properties and click details, and then you'll be able to see how did it get here and all the changes that have happened over time. So I can see, oh, this became a lead when it was imported in an import by myself back in November. All right, so I have all these leads now that are loaded into this sandbox mock environment, and that's how it happens. Now the neat thing is that there is, like I mentioned, some automation that happens with the lifecycle stages that's really important for lifecycle stage reporting, including one of the key ones is when you create a deal. So if I create a deal associated to Monica Reyes, let's go ahead and say I'm going to sell 1,000 socks. And these are going to be Viking socks. All right, because I'm a Vikings fan, right? So we're going to sell 1,000 socks to Monica, and we're going to put that in a pipeline. And there's these deal stages. Don't worry too much about that right now, but there's different properties that we can add, and kind of build this out. Anyways, I'm going to click create. Now we have a deal record. Look at that. We have 1,000 sock order of Viking socks, or $5 a sock, so that's going to be a $5,000 order. And I can see that this deal is associated to Monica, and because it's her deal, right? I created it from her record. So I could go back to the Monica record by clicking on the right here. I'm going to give this page a refresh to show the association. There we go. And I can now see that there is a deal associated to Monica here. And if I go back to the left and I look at, oh, what happened? Lifecycle stage updated. Who did that? Who did that? I didn't do it. Oh, you mean it's the CRM that did it? Well, that's wonderful. So now this property is an opportunity. Why? Well, because it's associated to a deal. Once your contacts are associated to a deal, they will get moved into an opportunity stage, as long as you didn't turn off that automation. It's in there out of box. So if it's in there, we got it. If you changed it, you might not. And this is very helpful to have because it's going to help with your conversion reporting, to be able to say, okay, well, when things have a deal, it should be an opportunity stage, right? And so there's all these different stages that this deal moves through. I'm just going to bump it up here and just show. I'm just going to move it right to a closed one deal. Let's see, we already closed this deal. Fastest deal we've ever closed in our lives. Yay. Hope we close another one like that fast. And now I can see that this deal is in the closed one stage. And if I go back to Monica, let's go ahead and just give it a second here. We have a minute to refresh. Oh, wow, look at that. Who changed it? Lifecycle stage is now customer. How dare you? Who's in my database messing around with my stuff? Oh, it was actually a CRM setting. It's me. So now because I set this deal to a closed one state, then it moves to customer right away. So the value with this, right, is that we can see the different stages it moved to, when it moved through those stages, what made that change, and from that we'll get better conversion reporting and a better perspective on how things are performing, right? How many leads do I have? How many opportunities do I have? How many customers do I have? Where are there big drop-offs. Am I dropping off a bunch of contacts between the lead and MQL stage? Am I dropping off a bunch of contacts between the MQL and SQL stage? Am I dropping off, like where are these drop-offs happening? Where are the leaks? Where are the clogs, right? And we can actually start to get into that quite a bit more when we have really good adoption of the lifecycle stages, and using HubSpot reporting and even other reporting to help us with illustrating what that all looks like. So that's kind of a primer of our lifecycle stages. Now I'm going to check agenda, make sure that we're on track here. What we were going to talk about next. So we're going to explain what lifecycle stages are and why they matter, which I believe we did. We highlighted the common ones, which we did, and we discussed how lifecycle changes connect to a broader CRM and business goals. I feel like we did that. So I think next we can just probably get into auditing some lifecycle stage projects. So for this, we're going to go ahead and walk through a few examples of projects or setups and see what their lifecycle stage reporting looks like. And this is a great place to begin because we can kind of see at a high level how contacts are flowing through your business. How are they flowing through your marketing ops? How are they flowing through sales ops, customer ops, right? We'll be able to see where your strengths are, where there's gaps, where there's opportunities for improvements, definitely through an analysis of those items. And then from that, we'll probably get some tips, right, to refine or optimize stages for better workflows. And so those are going to be some of the fun that we'll get into. Actually, maybe before that, I want to share a couple of other things, because there was this knowledge base, which is very useful. And this is some of these things just show, so the nice thing about lifecycle stages too is that they're being timestamped. So every time that the lifecycle stage changes, there's a couple of timestamps that are happening. The latest time in stage or cumulative time in stage, right? Those things are being tracked, and so you'll end up be able to produce tables like this, which is, again, it's gonna be really interesting, because not only is like getting the sense of how many contacts do you have in each stage important, but how long they stay in those stages. For example, we can see like at this in this mock report here for like subscriber, we can see, there's 3 contacts in subscriber, and they are typically in the they were in the subscriber stage for 44 seconds, and they were in this stage for this many seconds or days, etc. So it's going to start to show you what, how long people spend in different stages, which could clue you into, are people taking too long in different stages, and also even setting in like benchmarks and baselines into how long we would expect someone to be in a stage for. And that way you can get into action, right? If someone's like in a stage for 3 times longer than what everyone else is on average, could be a sign to get into action and do something about that, right? Okay, so we got through the rest of that article, but there are a couple of things that I wanted to just highlight. I was just kind of curious like what the HubSpot forums have, because again, HubSpot does have a lot of has a great community. And so they have these forums where I'll put this in chat here, but I've linked to their forums where you can ask all sorts of questions, right? And there's lots of different experts, Joseph there, and you can take any kind of question you have there. It's very helpful. And so I didn't really look at these ahead of time, so I'm not sure what we're walking into, but I figured, hey, why not? Let's just all out there. Let's just see what kind of best practices and things that people would say. So this person, Mr. Bean, back in 2022 says, anyone want to brag about their best practices about using custom lifecycle? Okay, so this is custom lifecycle stages. So I mentioned before that these are the out of the box ones, right? Well, sometimes people customize them. There are some customizations that we definitely have done and have seen, but I'm curious to hear or be a rebel and argue against them, right? So if you're for custom lifecycle changes, just put 4 custom changes in chat. If you're against them, just do against custom changes. And let's see what we have here is from JNix284, Jennifer Nixon, independent consultant. She said, actually, you know what? Let's do this. I'm not going to read. I'm going to do this in the voice of one of our guest AI stars. So let's see what we can do here. We'll do it in the voice of Gwyneth Paltrow.
Welcome to Speechify. Speechify can read to you in the highest quality digital voices available.
Well, thank you. Thank you for plugging your product.
Hi, Mr. Bean. Such a good topic. Will definitely keep my eye on the other responses because I'm a little conflicted on whether to customize or not. My number one change would be to add a lost life cycle, some way to move customers out of the customer stage so we have an accurate customer count without having to use a bunch of filters.
Okay. So interesting concept, right? You could have a lost life cycle, something that, where you could track people who like fall out of the stage completely, because oftentimes what happens is when someone becomes a customer, they just kind of stay a customer, right? And then there's nothing usually beyond that. That tends to be the end. So adding a lost stage, interesting. What else we got?
And we'll probably rename evangelist to advocate, or something a little more commonly used.
Yeah, I mean that's probably a good. I like that one. I think evangelist, right, can be misconstrued or mean a lot of different things to people. So advocate, referral partner, or whatever it might be. And again, evangelist or advocate, whatever it might be, typically what those are used for is for people that are like become promoters of your brand, right? People who maybe referred other business, maybe they did a case study for you. Again, it kind of depends on how you define it and what you want it to be.
90% of our leads come in as customers. They come in as direct purchases from the HubSpot marketplace. For our purposes, MQL, CQL, and opportunity is a bit much. The question is whether to keep all of them and ignore them, or remove any or all of them. If my reply answered...
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's a good call out there, definitely by Jennifer. So she's saying, some of these stages might not even be used. Like, for example, if you're like a very small business, solopreneur, mom and pop, even a very small business, which I would say is like 10 employees or less, right? And even for those beyond, right, you might not need all these MQL, SQL. Like for you, it just might be lead, opportunity, customer, right? It could be that simple, right? There are reasons why you may want to simplify and remove some stages, especially like marketing qualified lead. Like say you don't have a marketing department, right? And so you're like you're a mom and pop, and mom is doing the marketing and pop is doing the sales, right? Golly, if that's just a situation, right? Like, you might not need to have MQL and SQL, specifically to do those kind of breakouts. It might be just too much. Like you could simplify potentially this setup. So I think that's definitely a good recommendation from Jennifer. Let's go ahead and see what Christopher from RVO has to say about this.
Hi, my name is John. I speak at...
Thanks, John.
Mr. Bean, I love this topic. I think you should 100% use custom lifecycle stages. Having a deep understanding of the customer lifecycle is one of the most fundamental aspects of a solid marketing and sales alignment strategy. One thing to note, custom does not equal complex. You should not go crazy with adding 20 different lifecycle stages for your users. Keep it concise and ensure that every lifecycle stage is tied to a specific action or data point that can trigger a lifecycle to be changed. In my experience, I see lifecycle stages work best in tandem with lead statuses. I view the difference between these two as a lifecycle stage being a classification and a lead status being a condition. For example, someone could be a sales qualified lead lifecycle stage but have a cold lead status if they haven't responded in 30 days.
Yeah, it's good call out. So they're actually, so what Christopher Barnett from Match2Date is referring to is that there's actually different fields, including lead status, that would be something that like your sales team might use. That's actually a drill down further into like the life cycle stage. Like if a contact is a marketing qualified lead or even a sales qualified lead, and your sales team is like reaching out to people, following up with them, and say they just can't ever get a hold of this person. Well, you might put a lead status of like didn't connect or unable to connect or ghosted or who knows, right? There's lots of different lead statuses that you could go into. The topic of today isn't necessarily lead status, but definitely will be one for future purposes, because you're right, the lead status, the life cycle stages, and even deal stages, they all can kind of relate to each other in a certain way. All right, so we got Phil from Glenn. Let's give him Benjamin.
Hi, my name is Benjamin. I speak in British English. Great question, Mr. Bean, and some great answers here already. My general rule of thumb would be to only use custom lifecycle stages if you have a rock-solid argument, business case for it, that makes everyone's life easier, not harder. HubSpot already did a pretty good job of describing the customer lifecycle in a logical, reliable way that has more or less stood the test of time. But subtle changes and augmentations, like those suggested, could really enhance it. I'd avoid introducing life cycle stages that encourage backward movement, as I find this can really confuse teams and reporting. Single direction of movement is usually the easiest for everyone to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice from Phil. So when thinking of these stages, it's best to think of them as a sequential movement, sequential actions. Ideally, you don't want things that are skipping stages. You don't want to start in the middle of a stage. The idea is that you're starting at the beginning and you move methodically and step by step through it. That will get you the best conversion reporting star and goes. That's going to, and Juan and Kaylee, thanks for being here. That's going to give you the best reporting because when you start moving stuff backwards or you put stuff in the middle and then you jump stages, the reporting isn't able to really report on those gaps necessarily. And so there's some nuance and some issues and challenges that kind of arise in your ability to trust or even really use life cycle stages for reporting. Right? Okay, so we have another one here. We'll give you Jessica.
Hi, my name is Jessica.
I love this question because we've been modeling custom lifecycle stages for our customers, and I'd say that depends on your business and the data model and processes in place.
It definitely does. Every business is different, but I'll generally say, I agree also with Phil and Indira Cat Media here, that it's best to not customize it if you don't have to, right? If you don't have to customize it, then don't. Keep it simple. Keep it the same. Hey, Dylan, Eric. Then, so if you're what should my stages be? The answer is probably just what's out of the box, right? And if you find that what is out of the box is a gap somehow, from what you're wanting, then seek out an expert to really understand what best practices and things you might want to consider with all that. Here's some very specific examples here from Alan Helms, HubSpot and Salesforce CRM consultant from Organic Endeavors. Let's give him the Nate sound.
Hi, my name is Nate. 1. Start with renaming existing LC stages versus creating all new stages.
Yeah,
this will allow you to get comfortable with the impacts and avoid losing historical data.
Perfect. Excellent point. So if you do decide to go around and start changing stages, it'd be better to just rename them if you can, rather than deleting, adding, all that type of stuff, because yes, there's data that may have been collected that you aren't even aware of that you could lose and be impacted by deleting or adding stages like that. So great call up by Alan.
2. Decide what your default contact creation stage should be. In HubSpot, it used to be lead, but we now often relabel this as new lead for added clarity. Consider combining lifecycle stages and lead status if your sales process is simple enough. This prevents users from having to keep up with two separate pick lists that easily get out of alignment.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's a good call up. So if there's a way to use, so some companies will use lifecycle stages as one property and then lead status as another, and then try to manage and handle both. That doesn't always have to be the case, right? So if you can customize your life cycle stages, Kayla and Gilbert to work in that fashion, then you're in business. So what else do we got here?
Cool. Remember that lifecycle stages still will not go backwards without a deliberate workflow or manual intervention. So the order you use will be important for reporting.
That's correct. So automated, so workflows cannot push a lifecycle stage backwards unless there's a kind of a workaround to that where you actually clear out the lifecycle stage value and then set it to the one that you want it to backwards. But there are, I guess, there's a guardrail right in place there where basically the idea would be that lifecycle stages shouldn't go backwards, so you typically cannot set them backwards through a workflow. And unless you clear the value and then set it, so that's kind of the workaround. But again, it's very manual intervention, or very even through automation, so not generally recommended.
Add a delete LC stage to help keep your CRM clean.
Okay, interesting. So you could have this is pertains to a kind of an archival process, and so as with any database of people, they can kind of sprawl and they get very large, and before you know it, you have 100,000 contacts in your database, and you're like, how did I get here? Who do I need to delete? And that's usually where some sort of archival process Hey Rico, Ace, Stella, thanks for being here. Having some sort of archival process becomes handy.
Not all leads contacts are good leads contacts, and this is an easy way for any user to mark them and clean them out regularly. 6. Keep in mind any important integrations that may be affected, especially if you're using the HubSpot to Salesforce integration. 7. If you are using non-English language settings in HubSpot, there may be some additional impacts to consider.
Yep, absolutely, all good stuff. Let's see how many more comments we read. That's a thank you. I think we already read that one, and we read that one too. We read that one. Okay, I don't know why they're all showing the same ones again. Okay, so that was one article. I think that was good. I think there was one more I wanted to. Okay, so that one was more about custom lifecycle stages, do's or don't by Mr. Bean. Now we have new lifecycle definition, best practices. This is by Adam Becker 98, and so, again, I haven't read this yet, so I'm just going to do a quick scanio. So option 1, reset all lifecycle stages. Keep existing and apply new definitions going forward. It's open to suggestions. Oh, this is for new lifecycle stages specifically. Okay, I'm actually not going to go through this because, again, we're kind of going down a custom route, and for now, I'm going to try to keep things pretty standard and simple, right? It's just it'll be easier that way. All right, so we saw what life cycle stages are. We read a little bit about some best practices from some trusted experts through the HubSpot community, and we even reviewed the knowledge base to see what that's all about. So why don't we go ahead and pull up one of our reports here, and then we can see what we see. So I'm going to pull up a variety of different visualizations of charts and show you what the reporting inside of HubSpot looks like as it relates to lifecycle stage reporting. So to do that, we'll go to reporting, reports, and we'll click create report. And we're going to create a funnel report. And we'll select contacts from this next prompt. And now we have this new journey report. There are a couple of different ways to visualize it. As you can see here, that by default it's vertical funnel. My favorite is actually this Sankey visualization. I'll show you the difference here in just a moment. But Sankey is only available at the enterprise level of HubSpot products, so that's one call out. If you're at pro level, you'll be able to see like the horizontal, vertical, and table. All right, so we got to set up our report here, this funnel report. How we do that is you can see on the left-hand side we have different stages. So we're going to correlate these different stages that we have here on the left-hand side to the lifecycle stages that we have. And so here's stage 1. If I click on that, I can scroll through. From here, I can see all the different events and items that I can use as part of my stage, but the ones that I really want to look at are going to be the contact lifecycle stages. And they're generally all in order except for subscriber. For some reason, subscriber's at the bottom. But I'm going to use subscriber as my first event, and then I'm going to click save. And I'll know it worked because then I can see stage 1 and then I'll say subscriber, right? And so next step will be click add a new stage. And then I'm going to go down back to my list here. Again, this is the out-of-box setup, the lead, MQL, SQL, opportunity customer. I'm not going to use evangelist or other for the purposes of this reporting because I'm really only curious about the customer lifecycle journey. And so we'll bring in lead for this one, click save. And we'll just keep doing this for each one all the way through. And so this is how you set up your lifecycle stage journey reporting. And so we got MQL, marketing qualified lead in here. Let's go ahead and do sales qualified lead. You want to make sure that these are contact lifecycle stages and not company lifecycle stages. Notice that they'll have the same stages. You don't want to get them mixed up. So just keep an eye on that. We got stage 5 now. You can also just type in, so I know that opportunity comes in after a sales qualified lead, so I can just type the search. Again, make sure you pick the contact life cycle stage. You could do a company life cycle stage funnel and visualize all this stuff based on the company records. No problem with that. But we're not going to do that for the purposes of our demonstration here. And then customer is the next one. So we'll save that. All right, and then I'm just going to do. Again, this is a sandbox, so I might not have a lot of data, but let's see if I have any for last year. So I'm gonna set my date range for last year. Okay, I don't. So let's go for the year before. Let's see if we can, how far back we can go. I don't know if we can do 2 years at a time. We'll find out. Again, it's sandbox, so I might need to actually pivot over into one of my other environments here. Let's do that actually. That is not well. So we demonstrated how to set up a report. Now, because we're in this sandbox, we just didn't have any data for us to look at. So let me go ahead and prep this in my other environment. So we have a few that will demonstrate this through. So just hang tight here for a minute and enjoy the tunes. Realize something too that maybe was impacting the ability of the report to show up. One other thing we want to do when we're setting these up, you'll notice that there's all these different required little boxes that you can see the circle that says required, and it's kind of grayed out. So what that means is that this report will only show contacts that move through each stage sequentially, one after another. So they have to start at stage 1, and then they have to move, through these other stages where I'm actually going to modify that, and instead I'm going to make these. You have to have the first and the last stage need to be set as required. There's no way to change yours. If I go edit here, you notice that optional is grayed out, so I can't change that, right? Another thing too, when you're configuring these, you can change the different stage names. So I could actually go and I can say yes, this is subscriber. That's fine. I could rename this, or let me save that. So let's change this to lead, just so it all matches. And note too that as you're making these funnel things, you could even combine stages. So if you just wanted lead and marketing qualified lead to all kind of roll up into the same stage, you could do that with the settings. But just for the purposes of our presentation here today, I'm not going to dive into that. So we'll call this one MQL, AJSAB, and we'll make this optional as well. Sales qualified lead, rename that to SQL. And put optional. And let's go to opportunity now. And save. Make sure you save. Save box is kind of, it's a little hidden, right? And then we'll name this last one customer. Rename. And again, we can't make this one optional. The first and last stages just need to be required. That's just how it goes. And all right, so now we have our updated. Let's refresh this. Now that we have all those different optionals in place, let's see if we get anything. We might not. Again, this is a sandbox and not a lot of movement of data. No, we don't. Okay, that's fine. Now let's pivot over into our other environment where we will get stuff here. I promise you that. But we do need to make these middle stages optional. I'm not going to read any of them. We'll just make them optional for now. All right. Hopefully this works. All right, let's refresh. It looks like, I'm not sure what this custom range is. It looks like it's a few months or so. Hey, look at that. We have a vertical funnel report. Yay. This particular environment doesn't have the enterprise level, so we can't do the Sankey, but don't worry, I'll have some Sankey examples for you. And I can even show you how to build a custom Sankey from a vertical funnel. That will be extra credit after class here today. But what we'll look at here is our vertical funnel. So for this date range, from October 9th till today, basically, in this portal, we can see that there was 240 contacts that were put into the subscriber state. And then we can see the movement of contacts beyond that. So we see 28 leads. We get conversion metrics that show from one stage to the other what the conversion in between that is. And then we can also see how many are potentially skipping that stage too. So we can see that there's some stage skipping that's happening, some conversion that is happening in between. And this is, again, that's why skipping stages impedes on your ability to really provide accurate conversion reporting from one stage to another, because when it skips, it gets missed, right? So that is, for example, like we can see here that nothing got into sales qualified lead, right? So this, to me, this stage is not being used, right, by this company. And so there would be certain things I'd start to derive from this. But let's look at the rest of the results first before we start looking at that. Ooh, yeah, thanks for the feedback, Daria. I'll make this make the audio a little louder. Yeah, I did notice I turned it up a little bit and then I forgot to turn it down. So I appreciate the call out on that. We'll make a little adjustment here. Give you the appreciate it. All right. So I wasn't singing with the music. We can see some aggregate metrics down here as well, like total conversion, which we can see right now at 5.42. And we can also see a cumulative conversion. Cumulative would mean that it actually went through every single stage one by one and without skipping, right? So since probably nothing went through every stage, then we get that 0% cumulative conversion here. We also get time to complete, which is very important metric for us to pay attention to, because this will help us identify where there are blocks, right, with all this stuff here. I wonder if maybe I'll turn it down a little bit on this side too. Okay, cool. I was jamming out in my own headbuds. That's why I was getting really excited. All right, I lost my place. Which one am I in? Here we go. All right, so the average time to complete journey was 21 hours, meaning from start to finish, it took folks 21 hours to complete the journey from subscriber to customer. And then average time between steps, 3.7 days. And then we can scroll down here to actually see the breakdown of, from one step to the other. What were the total amount of contacts that were in these different stages, and how long they were in these stages for, and what was the percent conversion to the next step. It's fairly close to what you see here. But then the only thing that this doesn't represent or show or represent is the time, the duration, which can be really helpful for a company, because you may want to look at, well, how long do people stay at different stages for, or how long does it take, to move from, for example, an opportunity to a customer. Oh, it took 18.9 hours for that to happen. Interesting. Okay. How about from subscriber to customer, right? We skipped a bunch of stages, but this took 22 hours. And there's a number in there. Let's actually go for a really big data set. Let's just go last year and see if we can get maybe a little more data to examine. All right, here's a little more. So 442 subscribers, right? 11% conversion to leads, that's 51. And then we have marketing qualified lead, 13 went into that. A lot, some skipping of stages still, right? That we can see on the right-hand side here. Sales qualified leads not being used, so we don't see that. And we can see opportunities and customers. And so, some things that are popping out to me in terms of issues, right? One is skip stages. So if you see stages that are being skipped, then your conversions are going to be wonky. And so we want to examine what's happening here, what that's leading to deal stage skipping. For example, like with this sales qualified lead, it may just be that it's not being used, and if it's not being used, then maybe it could be removed. Again, I would make sure that you haven't been using it before just we're deleting it, because there's issues. We want to be careful with your life cycle stages. So don't just go into your environment and start deleting stuff. That's not what I'm suggesting. But you may want to look at, okay, have we ever used this? Do we have any data around it? Do we want to use this? And if everything kind of checks out, like you don't have historical data that you're going to lose, you've never used it, your team doesn't want to use it, like if those are the things that are coming up for you, then chances are you can delete it. So that would be one thing I would want to do there. Okay. And what else we got? Oh, look at this. So we'd expect this thing to kind of work like as a funnel, right? Like it should start very large and kind of dwindle down lower and lower. Well, this starts out, big funnel at top, but then it turns into very small, right? This would be like, a huge drop off, right? We can see a significant drop off here. And so part of me wonders, okay, what's the cause of the drop off? Are we not nurturing these subscribers into leads? There's things that this is a significant drop off, right? So that's the one thing that I'd be looking for inside of a vertical funnel. And then lastly, we have, let's see here. This opportunity to the customer. So we had, again, 20 opportunities, and because of the deal staging, you would go, well, how did we create 42 customers out of 20 opportunities? That seems weird. Right? Naturally, you should have more opportunities, and then customers would be fewer than the opportunities, right? But because of the deal skipping, and I think in this case particularly, there were some records that moved instantly from like subscriber to customers or something like that, and so they skipped all this, right? And so when we're trying to make sense of, well, how many opportunities do we have? Well, I don't know, because we skipped the stages, and I don't get good information when using life cycle stages for that type of reporting. So again, going back to why best practices and having the right kind of disciplines around managing life cycle stages is really important. And so I'd want to see something that's more, again, like a funnel, right? And then to get there, we'd have to stop skipping stages. And to improve the performance, we'd want to look at what's happening with the drop-offs, with that. And then also, if things aren't being used, should those things be potentially eliminated, right? Those are a few things that I'm kind of seeing here. And then also with the time, right? The time, I'd want to look for things that look very unusual. Like sometimes I'm building these reports for clients that I'm consulting with, and they'll have contacts that are spend hundreds of days between stages. And in some cases that might be fine if you have a long sales cycle and a complicated sale, and where you are nurturing someone over months, maybe even a year. But if you get into the year plus, or say you usually sell to someone in 90 days and you're hanging on to a contact for a whole year in an opportunity stage, it might point to some opportunities to get in that, to find different ways to accelerate what's happening there. So I like the time frames because it gives us a pretty good baseline to say, okay, well, if it usually takes 13 days to sell someone and complete this journey, if I've been trying to sell to someone 4 or 5 times this, 40, 50, 60 days, that might be a red flag for me, right? That might be a flag to say, what, maybe this person isn't following our customer journey as designed, and maybe isn't worth pursuing, right? At least you just get different kind of choices and options to make as a result from it. Okay, so that is the vertical funnel report. There are a couple different ways to you could do a table, or just show the table, just do the vertical. Because I did optional stages, we can't do the horizontal funnel. But why don't we just customize this real quick, just to show something like, we'll just show two tables and a horizontal, just to kind of show you what that looks like. So this is going to just show people that went from subscriber to customer, right? As the next step. Again, this isn't ideal because these stages aren't next to each other. In fact, what would be a little bit more realistic is that if you, or meaningful probably in this visualization, is that if we did something like, subscriber to lead conversion or something like that. So let's try to refresh that. Oops, I did lead a customer. I don't know how that happened. Let's do lead to marketing qualified lead. Again, it's on the contact lifecycle stage. Let's refresh the values. Cool. So I can see that out of the 5,100 leads that we had, 0.7% went to marketing qualified lead, or 36. Again, this is the horizontal funnel. It can only be used when all stages are required. So it shows the step-by-step progression through each stage that we have here. And I could say something like, who moved from lead to customer? And we'll make that one required too. Let's see what this one looks like. All right, so no one actually followed this path. Let's see, let's get rid of the middle step. Yeah, no one followed that path too. Okay, so I think it was a lot of just subscribers that became customers, probably opportunities that became customers too. Why don't we just do opportunity? That way we can show just another example of this. Oh, I have a smaller date range too. I just noticed that. So let's go last year. All right, well, that's interesting. So out of 102 opportunities I had, 44.12 became customers, or 45 customers. This example, we can see that it took 30 days on average to go between opportunity and customer for this data set as well. And yeah, so those are how we can do horizontal, verticals, and tables. But then there's this the Sankey, which is interesting. And the Sankey is a visualization that allows you to see kind of like the flow of contacts. And let's see if we can find an example here. So there is a tool out there that I have used to produce just custom Sankey charts. Here's an example of a Sankey chart for like a budget, right? So you have sort of like this almost like an inflow, right? Wages, other, here's my budget, right? And then here's how things move out. So this Sankey, it's a great way to visualize our information here, because we can see how contacts are flowing through different visualizations. And so we have a couple of records here, and I can actually like customize this Sankey chart to show different things. And how I accomplished this was by going back to our report and going to the table. And this is actually before I made all the changes. So I would have had all the data here, right? So let's actually restore this back. So we'll go subscriber. Lead. Marketing qualified lead. Sales qualified lead. Oportunidad. And customer. All right, so this particular portal is not doesn't have the marketing enterprise license, so it doesn't have the Sankey visualization. But to kind of get around that and build your own, it's kind of extra. But you can take these results here, and actually let me go with I forgot to do a bigger data range, so I'm going to set these as optional. So I'm going to do that real quick. So making a kind of a custom Sankey from table data from HubSpot and putting it into a different tool, it is a workaround to, not having the Sankey visualization on the enterprise license. But it may be definitely worth an exercise doing, because you will see information differently, and we'll demonstrate that here in just a moment. All right, so I made these optional. Actually, I want to get like a really large data set, so I'm going to go, I don't know, like, can I go to 2022 on this? Let's try that. Hey, Aiden, welcome. All right, looks like we got a pretty decent set of data to work with now. So 831 subscribers, 182 leads, right? We can see some fluctuation. Oh, we actually had one sales qualified lead during all this. Again, it's probably not used. 81 opportunities, 73 customers. So this looks decent, right? And then we have the table of data here. And so what I've been doing is copying this table of data. So I'm just going to go and kind of highlight it all. And then we're going to put it into this spreadsheet, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. But again, this is kind of like extra credit. The Excel data nerd in me really enjoyed this, figuring out how to do this. But what you want to do is you want to unmerge these columns, and then we're going to copy these in. Don't worry about why, just this is how it's just done right now. And then there's a formula that we can use to input data from this spreadsheet into our Sankey tool. So the Sankey tool wants to know the source, and then the amount in brackets, and then the target. So that's how it can build that. So I accomplished that by doing the source. You can see source is subscriber. This is just a fancy Excel equation: source, number, target, and that is for all of it, right? Now there's also this concept of drop-offs, and drop-offs aren't shown here, and we're going to put them in. So to do that, I'm actually going to put a space in between each stage. So between subscriber, lead, MQL, SQL opportunity, right? And what this is going to be, it's going to be called subscriber to drop off. It's going to look just like that, right? We'll do the same thing for lead. We'll call this the drop off here, and we'll copy marketing qualified lead here, put another drop off there, sales qualified there, drop off there, whoops, and then opportunity to drop off. Okay, now how do we calculate these? Great question. I'm glad you asked. So the way we do that is by looking at what went into one stage but did not move out, right? Because all this stuff is showing what moved out, and we can find out what went in because we can see what went in. So this, like, subscriber to drop off is going to be the sum of everything that moved into subscriber, which is this number right here, 831, right? Minus everything, the sum of everything that moved out of subscriber. So that's basically everything right here. Boom. So what was the drop off? 503. The subscriber drop off of 503, because 831 went in, but only 328 went out, right? So the rest are a drop off. And then we're going to want to copy this formula down to see the drop off value here, and then it'll all come together in just a moment. We're going to do the same thing for lead. So lead is going to be the amount that went in, which is this right here. And we're going to subtract everything that went out, which is all this. And we'll drag that down. So we have lead. We can see the drop off for leads now, 99 drop off there. Let's do the same for marketing qualified leads. So I'm finding the ones that the target was marketing qualified lead. Boom, boom. So those two numbers. And then it's going to be subtracting by the number that went out from marketing qualified lead. And we'll do the same for sales qualified lead, which was the sum of everything that went into it, which is 1, minus the amount that went out of it, which is 1. So no drop off. And then lastly is the opportunity drop off, which is going to be the number that went into opportunity, which is going to be 57, 13, 10, 1, minus the amount that went out of it, which is this one right here, 31. All right, so let's bring this down. That way we can get our drop off values to put into our Sankey. So we just end up copying all this, go into our Sankey. There's this right here is what is controlling this visualization. So if I like change numbers in here, notice that it's updating the graphic to the side here. So there's number changes that we can make. I could change targets and say, oh, actually this wasn't taxes, this is donuts. Right now I have the budget for donuts, and this isn't transportation. This is a budget for video games, right? And so there's ways to customize the Sankey on this site, sankeymatic.com. So, and there's ways to actually do, you can like set the colors and stuff, a lot of customizations, but really you just need the data. So I'm gonna delete all that. We have a blank, and let's just put our Sankey data from our spreadsheet. Oh, look at that. I found a way to take data from HubSpot and make my own Sankey. Fun. So let's see what we have. A subscriber. All right, so we can see how many came in here, and now you're seeing the flow of contacts through your environment, through your HubSpot environment. So again, they're coming in as subscribers, and then we can see that a portion of those, and this is all relatively sized, right? So when you have like this little itty bitty line, that means it's just because an itty little bitty quantity of people moved through it. And then when you have muy grande line, línea, right? Then it's like, oh, yeah, hay mucha gente que está aquí, right? So a lot of stuff going through here. All right, and we can see the drop off at the end on this end. I like that. We can see the customers on the end because, hey, that's the goal. So anything that doesn't hit our goal eventually drops off, right? And then we can start to examine the flow of everything in between. I wonder if we can make this a little bigger. There we go. I like that. Okay. Ooh, yeah, that's fun. I would probably want to change the colors a little bit. Actually, one thing I thought would be fun to do with the colors is actually to color them based on the time it takes, because time is another element that I think would be really fun to visualize in here. And that's, you know, that's actually not one thing that you can get from the HubSpot Sankey. So you can set a colors node like this, boom, or a color for a single flow, boom. Oh, so you just put like a like a hashtag color code underneath. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna represent time by color, I think, and there might be some challenges, we'll see. But I'm kind of thinking like I would like to see maybe in like a darker color or like a more saturated color or something like that, right? Like when things take too much time. So that way I could potentially see the visualization quantity, which would be size, color, which would be maybe a combination of the source and destination plus time, maybe like what's the time of it. Now, how would we actually practically do that? I'd have to probably go back here and then use time use this average time as a thing. So some of these have no values. That's because they have 0. Some are hours, some are in days. And, you know, let's just arbitrarily say if something is, I don't know, less than a day. So we'll go, let's add the color. So if 12.3 days, all right, and I wonder if we can make this relative somehow. Okay, let's think on the fly here. How do we want to do this? So we're going to get hashtags of different color schemes, and we want to base it off this. Days and minutes. Okay, well, let's just do days, and we'll keep it simple. So days, 12, 31, 4, 3. This is like half a day. 39, 75, 6. This is like a very small amount of a day. 01. Yeah, 05. I don't know, 02, 03. 81 days. Okay. Again, I'm not sure how this is going to work. We'll find out. We're experimenting here. It's a live experiment. And all right, so if it's 1 or less, we could do some conditional, like, all right, so the color I'd want for like a 12-day, maybe like a yellow. And if things are beyond 30, I'm gonna go red. And if they're, let's say, well, we're gonna need some hashtags, so we need hashtags of colors. Where can we get those really quickly? Hex codes. We need hex. That's what they are. Hex color codes. All right, yeah, Google's got one. That's good. All right, so if something's bad, let's give it red. And so let's just do that. We'll copy this one. Bad's going to be 30 days or beyond. So we'll go with that, 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 that. And then if something is, you know, let's say like between 7 days, which would be like a week, and the 30, let's do the yellow, which, oh, we don't have anything. Well, I want to, oh, here we go. We got one yellow. And then the rest can be green. So let's find a hex for green. Oh, I like that green. Oh, wait, I didn't copy it. The yellow didn't copy either. What happened? Let's go back to yellow. Oh, wait, did I not copy red? Or maybe I'm just tripping. I think I'm just tripping. All right, hold on a second. Are these the same? The red? EB3434. Yeah, those are all the same. Okay, so I'm not. Let's just... So those are red. This one's yellow. Okay, good. That's different this time. And this one's green. Drop-offs won't... I'm not going to set a color, but I think they should all be the same color. So let's make all the drop-offs the same color as well. And let's do like a purple for the drop-off. Drop-off, drop-off. I could... I'm not going to fill anything that has the 0 here. I'm actually probably going to remove that from the chart, and you'll see how that looks in just a moment here. All right, so now I have the color, so I'm going to do another equation here. So this is going to be this, and then we're just going to add the color. And I think this should work. All right, so let's copy that, and let's see what happens. Ooh, fun. Okay, so red, like this, the red means slow, right? Now we set it to things that are slow. So takes a long time, and it's not a lot. Purple are our drop-off routes. The things that are going to the drop-off are in purple, and they're not necessarily timed because there isn't like a time to drop off. It's just like when you dropped off, you dropped off. And then green means you're moving quickly, right? So you can see here that from subscriber to even this one sales qualified lead, that was a green route, so we're moving clean. No traffic jams there. Subscriber to customer opportunities, that route's green, no traffic jams there. You know, 831 to 81, about 10%. Subscribers 831 to customers 73, no traffic jams there. Things are moving in less than 7 days, you know, between these stages. Even after sales qualified lead, you can see these little bitty. Here, let's zoom in again. You can see these little tracks, one going from sales qualified lead to what is it, to drop off. Oh, did I forget? I must have forgot to color these ones because probably should be purple because it's going to drop off. Well, anyways, we could probably update that. So sales qualified lead to drop off. Where are you? Oh, it's because I did not set a thing here. So I did notice with this Sankey tool, I'm going to delete these ones that have zeros because they put lines in that lead, and the lines make me think like there's actually a connection there when actually there isn't. So if there's a 0 and you're using this tool, you can just remove it, and notice that now those extra lines aren't there. So they're actually zeros and probably shouldn't have been in there anyways. All right, this chart's even looking cleaner and better. I'm getting really excited now. Okay, so here's subscriber. You know, again, we were at 831, drop off 7858. And then we can see, you know, purple's drop off, right? And then the green is things that are moving in less than 7 days between the stages, right? Even like this MQL to customer, one customer went that route and it moved within less than 7 days. And then the yellow, right, between subscribers and leads is yellow, meaning it's taking between 7 days and 30 days. I think that's what we set that up. And then right here is the more than 30 days. So from subscriber to MQL or lead opportunity, MQL to lead opportunity, right? Taking more than 30 days for these. All right, so what are some of the insights that we might be able to take from a SAN key like this? Well, one, what's going on with the drop-off? You know, huge drop-off. That's pretty wild. So you're getting subscribers and contacts in your database, but they're not moving through even the first stage lead, right? They're stuck here. So it's a huge drop-off. That's definitely something I would want to focus on. Secondly, it would be like the underutilization of sales qualified lead. You know, just having one here, you know, over the last nearly 2 years, it may just not make sense to have this stage if this isn't going to be adopted or wants to be adopted by the team. Then I would just probably remove that. And then the speed of which things are kind of moving through, right? Like especially between subscriber and lead, can this be sped up potentially? You know, especially if these benchmarks that I put for time, if they are really important to me, then then I will want to make sure that I'm putting kind of the right monitoring triggers, actions in place so that things continue to move through these life cycle stages smoothly. All right, chat. What else? Do you see anything that we should dig into? Jace, Aiden, Lay, Akuma, Stella, Sandra, Eric, Dylan, Justin, Dario, Justin, Juan, Clayton, Diego. I think we have a bit of a delay actually on my LinkedIn stream. I don't know why it seems to be like a minute behind. So chances are if you're putting something in chat, then I don't see it until far after. But yeah, feel free to engage. This is just an example of the kind of work that we can do using your HubSpot data, right? And this wasn't created obviously in the HubSpot portal. If you are using an enterprise version, then you can actually create a Sankey chart similar to this, right? It's not, of course, it's not exact, but you can create a chart like this out of the box within your tool. I do have a couple of other examples here that I've ran in the past, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up some of those examples, and we're going to dig in a little bit more on this. And I'm going to follow the same setup here. Actually, when I did these for the other ones, I did not include the colors in them, so I have some examples here that we are going to add. And I'm going to get the days in here, so this will be a 0.5. Oh, you know, I need the color to like show up automatically. That'd be great if the color could just automatically populate based on. That'll be for a future stream. I'm not gonna solve. Well, maybe we'll do it now. 18. This is 17 days. So I just gotta prep the data a little bit. 41 hours. That's about 2 days. 17 days there. All right. So what was green? I think green was this one's green. So I'll make that green. This will be green. This will be green. And let's find our yellow. There's our yellow hex. Let's put yellow for you, yellow for you, yellow for you, and you, and you. And then let's get our red. Red, red. I think that's it. All right, so we can copy all this down. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, we need our purple for our drop-offs. Drop-off code. Drop-off. Drop. Drop. Drop it like it's hot. All right, so there is our new data set. Let's see what kind of visualization we get from this one. All right, we got another fun one in store here. A couple things I'm noticing. There's some zeros here, so I'm actually just going to go through and delete the zeros so they don't show up anymore, because they kind of just take space. All right, look at that. Now we have a clean Sankey. This is another example of a Sankey chart with HubSpot data. In this case, we had 54. Oh, we actually started with contact record created. So we actually, we went before subscriber. We went with contact record creator. I actually forgot that when I was going through all the setups. So let me demonstrate that real quickly. I forgot about that one. So when you go here, one other thing that you can do is just do a contact create. And actually, I would recommend this being your first step. So contact record created. I like that one because your records might not always be created. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a heck of a time reordering this, aren't I? Why can't I? Where did it go? Here it is. Oh, I think it just took a while to update. That's why. The first stage ought to be contact record created, and then everything else is optional, right? So I'm gonna set this one as optional. Now the reason being, because your contact records could be created at different stages, and so we actually had that in there to demonstrate what's getting created and then at what stage they're being moved into. So for example, we can see 231 contacts were created here, and then those 231 just moved. They skipped subscriber, they moved right to lead, and then there's different conversions from there. So that's one correction we definitely want to make for now and for future, is to use contact created as your first stage. Okay, so we have contact created. Oh wow, look at that. Another huge drop off. This went from 5476 to a drop off of 5432. So huge drop off. I'd want to understand what's going on there. We also don't see marketing qualified lead or sales qualified lead. So maybe this company's not using them. Maybe they could be, maybe there could be value in using them. We can see some next bigger stages, right? Lead 663 go into lead, but then the majority from after that also drop off too. So not looking great. And then out of the ones that are being created, it looks like another portion go into subscriber, and then they kind of break off from that. Some get dropped off. And then you can see that there are some lines here, green meaning fast, yellow meaning kind of slow, and red meaning very slow, of flow of contacts between different stages. So I can say, well, you know, of the ones that become customers, there's a couple of slow paths. You know, here we can see a quick one from lead and sort of a slow one from opportunity. Also with this Sankey tool, there are ways to, you know, add labels and customize your labels, the placements of things. You know, you can kind of play around with these to see how they adjust the visualization. It's mostly just to visualize things differently, like change the height, make it very short or tall. You can add more spacing in between things or decrease the amount of spacing. So there are some really nice ways to edit the visualization here. All right, let's look at another one. So this is another export of data from a portal. Let's see what kind of discoveries we make here. So we're gonna format the days and colors like we have been doing, because I think that's a nice add-on to this. So this one has no days, 4 days, 76 days, 58, 71 days, and 48 days. Okay, so all the days are very long here. Again, might be just because of the nature of the business. Perhaps things just don't close as quickly. We'll go ahead and give green to the kind of the lowest, fastest track, and then we'll go yellow, you know, red kind of accordingly. So let's find our green value. We'll put that for the 4. Let's find our yellow value, which is this one. That's going to be for the, let's do it for the 48 and the 58. And then let's get the red, which is going to be for the really long days, the 76 and the 71. And then we want our purple for the drop-off values. So let's find our purple. Go drop off, drop off, drop off. And bring this last one in. Boom, shakalaka. Now I could also remove the zeros from here, just so the zeros I don't paste them in. All right, so this is pretty much it. This is what we have to bring into our sand key. Let's see what we get. Alrighty, let's zoom in. Okie doke, folks. So we can see 7,074 contacts created. Of those, 7,019 became a lead. Hey, Beetle. And most of those dropped off, right? Purples drop off. So what the heck's going on here, right? Why are so many leads dropping off? Now the ones that are not, again, green fast, yellow's kind of slow, red's very slow. And we can see that things move between contact record created and opportunity quickly, right? They actually, so they're moving quickly through that, which would tell me that there's probably some automation or something that's happening that's moving those contacts through those stages very quickly. Then we also have opportunity from lead, right? That's the yellow track, so that there's more contacts that are coming in through this way because it's a thicker line, but it's also taking longer on average for those contacts to move in between these stages. And then for the ones that eventually lead to customer, it seems like lead to customer is very slow, contact create to customer is very slow, opportunity to customer is the other yellow line. So when they flow here, it's it's the yellow track. You're kind of on your mid at that point. So yeah, here's another things I'd want to focus on. Again, the drop off, right? What is happening between this drop off and then to this sequential nature of things? Like it looks like when things follow this track, at least, right? When they go from lead to opportunity, it is yellow, but this would be probably the preferred ideal route to go. We do see some deal skipping here. I don't want to understand that, and try to make it kind of conform more to this, so we can see a better funnel of what's happening. All right, so that's another example. Do we have another one? We do, folks. Let's run through a few more. Let's get our days and colors that we're doing here and here. All right, so 11 minutes. Oh, TikTok is going to challenge me with a puzzle. Make sure I'm still here. Okay. All right, I am still here. Right, Aiden? Okay, so days, let's get those days in here. This is 11 minutes. What is that in a day? I don't know, like 0.05? I'm just guessing. Wow, this one has 252 days, very slow. Here's 11 days, here's 9 days, here's 14 days, 26 days, there's 2 days, here's 43 days. All right, so a few more that we are going to have to put into place here. Let's get our green. Here's our green. Let's call this one green. The 6 days can be green. The 2 days can be green. We'll make the 9 days green, sure. And let's get our yellow, which is going to be this one right here. And let's call the 11 days yellow, the 14 yellow, maybe the 26 yellow. All right, we're going to make the rest red, which will be this one. Red. 43 days, 71 days red. 252, that's so bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's nothing like morally wrong with it, but it's curious, right? Like what's going on here that these leads are taking 252 days to get that point. Oh, look at that. Maybe I found out. Oh, they're using this stage called company qualified lead. I remember this one. Okay, so this is a custom life cycle stage, and let's just go ahead and I want this to be black. And so we'll do the hex code for black because it's very, very bad. And let's find our purple for the drop-offs, and then we'll put that into the drop-off values. So there's a drop-off. Where's the other drop-off? Here's a drop-off. Did we not do a subscriber drop-off? We did not do a subscriber drop-off. Let's put that in here real quick. Put the hex code in here. Oh, that's why, because we didn't have anything. Do we not have anything going to subscriber? Nothing became a subscriber, so there's no subscriber drop off. Okay. That's why it's not there. All right, where are the other drop offs? Here's drop off. There's a drop off. There's a drop off. All right, and let's copy this down. And then we're going to remove the zeros. Cero, cero, cero. No ceros aquí. Gracias. All right, so we got our Sankey data. Let's get rid of that. I don't think we need that. Copy, and let's put it in here. Ooh, look at that. Another chart. A little different. All right, so we have this contact record created, about 17,000 records in this case. The vast majority of these are moving into lead, which tells me that there's probably some automation, or that's like the default status in which contacts are being created. But then the majority of those are leading right to a drop off. Wah wah. And then of the ones that aren't, well, look, that aren't going to lead automatically. I mean, there's only just a few, right? It's very, very minuscule. It's like 1 record did that, 5 records did that, 122 dropped off from record created. All right, they're green, they're fast, they're quick, right? But again, the drop off is a huge problem, like I think in this case right here. They also had this custom lifecycle stage called company qualified lead, which looked like in this case was used for like a little bit, but didn't like sustain. And this is like where the risk of using custom lifecycle stages kind of comes into place. Like you might think, oh, this is a really good idea. Let's make sure our companies are also qualified and put a lifecycle stage as company qualified lead. Well, in this case, chances are it just didn't get the traction or adoption that they probably were looking for, and it also got the black color, right? Because this was the slowest. We wanted to call this one out. We were coloring everything else as green, yellow, red. Although this is pink, so I'm not sure why. Did we miss a hex code for our contact to leads? Let's see. We did. So what is that supposed to be? Says average time no value, so it must be just instant. I think that's what's happening. Let's give it the green. We'll find the green. Which one's the green? I think this is the green. Oh wow, what is it doing? I've never seen. That's a funny way to visualize this. It like disconnected it. I have never seen this before. To lead. Okay, there. I think I had an extra space in there or something that made all that happen. All right, we figured it out. We're doing it live, and that's what happens when you do it live. All right, so the green, this contact record to create to lead is now corrected, so we're seeing that. Yeah, so what else we see? See huge drop off for leads. The company qualified lead custom stage, maybe red flag, maybe want to remove that. And then things aren't very sequential, right? Things kind of move from lead to marketing qualified leads. Some become opportunities. Right, some go right to customers, right? And so, I want to probably enforce some more integrity here to kind of track, all this stuff as it moves through all the different stages. All right, I think we got one more example to run through. So let's go ahead and get our days and colors in here. We don't have much here. It's just 4 days, 20 days, and 67 days. Everything else is like a 0. Okay, so should be simple because this is going to be the green. We'll give for the green. The yellow hex we'll give to, let's see which one's yellow. This one's yellow. that one, and then we have the last one, which is red. And find our red. There's the red. And then we're going to copy the purple for all the drop-offs. So here's a drop-off. There's another drop-off. Here's another drop-off. And then I need the fancy formula, which we'll copy here. And scroll it down, and then we want to remove everything that has the 0, which is quite a bit actually. So this should be pretty simple sand key. We'll see. Look at that. All right, so here's another example of, in this example, we have 672 contacts are created. Most of those are, again, going right to leads, so that looks pretty good. Only one went straight to drop off. So again, I'd probably just look at what happened there. But a huge part is dropping off. Of the ones that aren't, many are quickly becoming opportunities. So this tells me that there's probably some automation or something in place, because a third of the leads are turning into opportunities. What appears to be very quickly, and then it gets slow, right? It gets slow between opportunity and customer, and so this tells me that it goes quick here but slow there. So chances are that there's probably some opportunity to add more stages here, like MQL, SQL, right? So that way you can see more clearly, okay, instead of this like blasting through really fast, you could actually put in more stages in between to measure the time in between those more like precise stages that are inside the customer journey. And then we do see a small connection between leads and customers that are happening as well. All right, I think that was my last example. Let me see if I can pull up what a sand key would look like actually in a if we can pull up a sand key for inside HubSpot, because I showed you how to use an outside tool. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a sip of my soda. Yeah, I showed you how to do a sand key on through a sand key tool. So which will require you to like copy your data out, put it into Excel, do a bunch of Excel magic, to get the data like exactly as you need it. Which I know is like a lot of steps, right? Like there's a lot involved to kind of make that all happen. But why don't we go ahead and I'll show you here, as I'm just going to set the stage to show you a report of what most of this would look like if we just had access to a HubSpot enterprise instance. So here, let's pull this on screen. So this particular portal does have a HubSpot marketing enterprise license, so I'm able to pick Sankey as an option, right? So here it is. And then from this, I'm able to pull in, let's pull in subscriber. And save. And then we'll pull in lead. Save. Add another one. Marketing qualified lead. Save. Add another one. Sales qualified lead. Save. Add another. And next will be, what is it? Chat opportunity. Yeah, that's right. You got it right. And last but not least, chat. Do you know what it is? That's right. It is customer. Okay. So now we got subscriber lead. Oh yeah, you know what? I wanted contact create to be the first. Contact create. Contact record created. That's the official name. And you have to click and drag it up. There we go. So contact record created, subscriber lead, MQL, SQL, opportunity customer, and Sankey form. Let's just do for last year. run report. So the nice thing about the HubSpot Marketing Hub Enterprise tool is that you can produce these sand keys automatically, just like we were doing on the other thing. Oh, you know what? I got to make things optional. So here's what will happen when you create this report and you don't make the inside stages optional. You'll tend to get like, oh yeah, we created a lot of contacts, 107,000, but there's no conversion. Oh, curious. Well, that's because these stages need to be optional. So you caught me falling into that trap, but I was just hoping that you would find the trap first and let me know before I walk into it. So don't worry, we're all learning. Change these to optional. Refresh the report. Now we'll get a beautiful sand key, I promise you. All right, let's see what we have here. I don't know if it's because I'm like zoomed in a lot or something, but it looks kind of peculiar. No, it doesn't seem like zooming changes anything. But so here we go. We got our contact create stage, stage 1. And then we can see how items are flowing through. So let's see if I like hover over stage 1, I can see where things kind of flow from there. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to show drop off. We definitely want to check this box. It's going to make the visualization a lot better. So let's show the drop off. We'll let it refresh. All right, makes a little more sense. So if I hover over stage 1, which is our contact create stage, right, we can see 107,000 contacts are created. Vast majority of those are dropped off, 89,000, right, represented by this kind of maroon arrow, right? And so anything that did not drop off moved forward to different stages. But note a couple things like stage 1 or stage 2 here, which is subscriber, nothing moved into subscriber, so it's not being used. Maybe this is a case to either remove the stage or move things into subscriber before moving them into other ones, right? So there's a choice to be made there. Third stage is lead. Looks like most of the creates do go into lead first. I mean, it's kind of a mix. It goes into 3 different places. Some go to lead, right? And we can see, okay, if 13,000 went into lead, and then 12,000 of those 13 dropped off, and then a smaller portion went forward, and we can see that there's a small portion that went lead to customer, and then we can see another kind of smaller portion that went lead to opportunity. If I can get it, there we go. All right, so we can see the connection there between those different stages. There's marketing qualified leads, which is being fed by the content create. Some are going right to marketing qualified lead, and then the drop off. Look, 1,200 became marketing qualified leads. All 1,200 dropped off. So I'm like, okay, what's going on there? Like, why are these marketing qualified leads not being sent to the sales team and the sales team qualifying them, right? So, and we can see 0 when the sales qualified. So another unused stage. That's a chance probably for an opportunity to either get rid of it or put some structure around it. Show your sales team how to qualify leads, right, that are coming from the marketing team. That's going to be a topic for a different discussion from today. But again, that's what I would see from something like this. This is our opportunity stage, which most of them, again, are coming from the contact create. So it's kind of like you created a record and it instantly went into opportunity, meaning you probably created a deal and associated a contact record at the same time, which is curious because why didn't we have that contact information beforehand, and why didn't it go through these stages before it got created as an opportunity? These things just get fast-tracked to opportunities, and then you're missing what the conversion rates are between all the different stages leading up before that. On top of that, of the 4177 that became opportunities, the vast majority of them dropped off, and only a very small percent, it looks like, went from opportunity to customer, which I can hardly find that line to hover over to show that. 569 customers, some coming from opportunities, some coming from the the lead stage, and some from the contact create stage, which means that some contacts were created once a deal was created and put into a closed won stage all at the same time, meaning they kind of fast tracked, or you kind of jumped everything beforehand. So you don't, again, you miss out on conversion rate data. You miss out on how much time it actually took to move through all these stages, because if you created a contact when you win a deal, Well, you have no insight into how much time it took to get to that deal. How much time did it take as an opportunity? How much time did it take as a lead? How much time did it take to get them as a lead before when they were created, right? If you would have created them beforehand, right? So again, there are some nuances and exceptions, and every business is different in how it may track contacts through its database. All right, so this is an example of a Sankey chart inside of HubSpot. It looks like lunch is here. What do we have for lunch? Chicken noodle soup. Homemade chicken noodle soup, guys. Might be hard for me to show on stream though, because I can't like tip the bowl of soup over and show everyone what I'm about to have. I can maybe aim the camera at it though. Let's try that real quick. Good luck, everyone. Here's my soup for the day. All right. All right, well, I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon so my soup doesn't get cold. All right, well, we went through a ton of examples, including the vertical tables. We like took data out and showed how you can make a Sankey customer journey flowchart, even with the public tools, and we used the Sankey feature in HubSpot to show at an enterprise level what this might look like when visualizing your customer journey. So what else we got to get to? We got to wrap this up. My soup is going to get cold. Okay, so we talked about best practices. Definitely, we highlighted different things. We looked at what some industry experts are saying on the HubSpot forums about different CRM strategies around customer lifecycle stages. And yeah, and I answered all the questions that came in through everything. Everything we were streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, TikTok. So please follow, like, subscribe, share on those streams. We're going to be doing this on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and we'll be doing deep dives on lots of different topics. Right now, we're going to be focused on lifecycle stages. Thursday topic might be doing the same stuff that we're kind of doing here, but instead of lifecycle stages, we're going to focus it on deal stages and show how lifecycle stages and deal stages can interact. And as you guessed it, in a later stream, we'll probably do things around lead statuses, lead scoring, and each time we're just going to do like basically like a deep dive into a topic, a key topic, right? A fundamental, foundational topic around our CRM. So today we did a lot of really great stuff. We queued up what life cycle stages are, some best practices around them, some pitfalls, some things to watch out for, when to customize, when not to customize, how to visualize them, what to look for in terms of conversion rates and time in between stages, how to customize visualizations to demonstrate the amount of contacts that are going through, as well as use different dimensions of data like color to represent how quickly or how slowly different stage conversions are happening. And from all that, we're able to get a nice visual of the flow of contacts in your database. So if you don't have this and you want it, well, you got the keys to do it now. You can watch the stream and pretty much set this up for your own. But if you'd like to have our guidance at Media Garcia to provide you with this type of solution, then I have a solution for you. You can just go to www.mediagarcia.com/stream. We'll put it in the chat again for everyone. And Vladimir, with that, you can go and request for us to do this for you. And we'll go ahead and we'll set this up and complimentary, right? And we may make a case study, right? Because we want our people to be successful. So whenever we go into a portal, our intention is to provide you insights, provide you solutions and results, right? That help you grow, solve problems, and hit your goals, right? At the end of the day. So that's what we care about at Media Garcia. So you can find out more at mediagarcia.com/stream. That's mediagarcia.com/stream. You can find out how you can get your very own HubSpot complimentary deep dive assessment, weekly assessment. Every week we're going to assess an area of your platform, just like what we did here, but we'll provide you a tailored report and give you recommendations and solutions on how to take it forward. So so you can take action there. And be in touch. We love it when we hear from you, and we want to hear your ideas, your recommendations, your feedback. Dario, thank you for the feedback on the background music being too loud. We're streaming is a new approach that we're taking for this year, and so you can expect to see an incredible amount of videos. We'll be streaming during this daytime session, usually around 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., maybe 4 p.m. or so, kind of depends, during Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, during the days, that's Central Time. And then there will be another stream on Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays during the evenings. So that's for your night owls, because I happen to be a night owl. So usually around 10 p.m. to maybe about 1 a.m. or so, we'll be doing a AI stream where it's actually gamification. It's gaming with AI, and we're gaming with business games. So the one that we're playing right now is this game called TCG Card Shop Simulator. It's an interesting game. Here, let me actually preview for you what that looks like. I'll pull our YouTube channel on screen here and just give you an example. So like, here was an example of one of our streams from a few days ago. So what we're doing here, there's me, there's this game. So basically I'm running this trading card shop simulator. I don't know why it's so laggy in this video, but I might have to pull it up on Twitch. And then, there it is. It's a little better now. Anyways, these people are coming in. They're buying cards. They're trading cards. They're transacting, right? And there's a lot of business mechanics that we're executing in this game. But we're taking it to the next level. Yeah, the game's fun. It's a blast. And as part of our nighttime stream, we'll be doing a lot of gaming on more like games with like business mechanics, right? So you got a store, or you got a some sort of business, right, that we're trying to make money from. And what we're doing is we're trying to make a pathway to $1 million, right? And showing people how to get to $1 million, right? Because it's a huge milestone for entrepreneurs and companies that are just starting. And with that, we can show how, like, this is an example of we're using some spreadsheets, we're crunching numbers, we're also working with ChatGPT, like we did earlier today, to analyze our metrics, to give us recommendations, and really using ChatGPT almost like as a business partner in this case to help guide us in making better decisions in our day-to-day business, but inside the game, right? And we even do stuff like this where we're making GPT doing like charts, right? So and obviously the chart here looks a little wonky when we address those things, but we're asking GPT to make charts, and we're using different tools, and it's not just GPT. We're using all sorts of different AI tools here to show how a business owner could use these concepts, right, in a day-to-day business, but we do it in an entertaining fashion, and it's at night, right? So if you we're entertained, if you like the kind of content that we're coming up here during the daytime, which is going to be a little bit more business oriented, you will definitely like the evening gaming stream where we're going through and playing a game using AI and other tools to grow and get successful, right? So that's our pathway to $1 million. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and we will see you laters.